We're live on YouTube at ABC News GH. Kindly join us there too. Into our first story, land economist Professor Seth Asiamah has charged the government to crack the whip by arresting paramount chiefs who are either directly involved or complicit in illegal mining activities on their lands. According to the former provost of the College of Architecture at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the wanton destruction of Galamsey would cost the state huge expenses to reclaim the lands. His remarks come after a recent spectacle of high turbidity in the country's water bodies, particularly River Pra, which has sparked yet another outcry for the government to declare a state of emergency. Professor Seth Asiamah, speaking on ABC News, ABC in the morning, urged the media to intensify calls for the government to go after chiefs behind the menace.
Sister, what is popularity? Popularity is not simply winning elections at the polls or people shouting your name from rooftops. Popularity is doing things that people will turn around tomorrow and say, Abanwe and that is what I call popularity. If the chiefs are doing it, why don't we go after them if we can identify them? Recently, we were told that something has distilled some chiefs, 2 chiefs at Sabronumu, because they were involved in Galamsey. That is the way to go. But to me, these are small chiefs. There are big chiefs behind it. Let's go after them. And it is only the state that can go after them. But as we say, if the state itself is not committed to the fight against Galamsey, how can they go after the chiefs? Because truly, when the Galamsey people get to the village, many of them will go and see the chief first to give them their blessing. And so if we can get at the chiefs, maybe we can get to the bottom of this problem. But we first need the political will, the political commitment on the part of the government to be able to do this.
Meanwhile, Professor Seth Asiamah has called on the government to repeal LI 2462, which allows for mining in forest reserves. Professor Seth Asiamah indicated that the law in its current form is an affront to the preservation of the country's forest reserve. Hence, the need to abrogate it and not review, as has been petitioned by some CSOs.
They are in the forest. It is not illegal anymore. They are there with a license authorized by the government of the Republic of Ghana. So what are we doing to ourselves? And how did we get here? It is a shame, a very, very big shame. I know CSOs have been talking about this and getting nowhere. They will not get anywhere because, as we said in the beginning, the people who are causing this trouble are the big men. It is not the Chinese guys or the small boys who are in the forest. No. It is the big men sitting in Accra and Kumasi who are doing this.
That is very true. And like you mentioned that 2 years ago, you were very disappointed to find that permission had been given for them to be able to mine. But I want to find out, do we need to review that? Because that's LI 642. And we need to find out, this gives the people permission to go and mine. So it's like, I'm not doing something illegal, like you said. I don't need to hide. I don't need to run. I have like a warrant, so I can be there and be able to actually do the mining. Do we need to review this legislative instrument?
My sister, it is not a question of review. We must abrogate it immediately. We must take it off. Because review for what? Just take it off. Because it is inimical to the growth of this country. They are in the
on illegal mining Galamsey, Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfred Yeboah Dame has disclosed that some over 850 individuals are currently facing prosecution for the alleged involvement in illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey. This comes amidst growing concerns over the devastating impact of Galamsey on the country's water bodies and forest reserves. Speaking at the 2024-2025 Annual General Conference of the Ghana Bar Association, Yeboah Dame revealed that 140 cases of illegal mining are being investigated across 5 regions: Western, Eastern, Ashanti, Greater and Upper East regions. He highlighted the challenges faced by prosecutors and courts, but emphasized that progress has been made, with 76 convictions secured since August 2021, including that of the notorious Chinese Galamsey queen, Aisha Wang. On the phone is the Executive Director of EcoConscious, Awula Serwaa, for more on the discussion. Good afternoon, Awula Serwaa.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon on ABC News GH.
Thank you for having me.
Well, there have been calls for government, for the president to repeal the LI 2462. Why these calls?
Because the law is perverse. We are supposed to be protecting our forest reserves. Now, what LI 2462 does is that it allows mining in forest reserves. And we're still in globally significant biodiversity areas. So you cannot be interested in protecting our forest reserves if you pass such a perverse law. And that is why the law has to be repealed with immediate effect. It's just not in the interest of Ghana or Ghanaians.
Okay. Some will say that initially we were mining in the forest reserves because we needed some gold, we needed some of the mineral resources that God has blessed the nation with. Now it's gone beyond that, and we are seeing that we are desecrating the land. What are some of the things that you have put in place to get this law repealed as soon as possible?
You see, there are some areas which are no-go areas. We have to understand that the good Lord has given us the forest for a reason. If you have a protected forest reserve, it's a no-go area. You go there, you cut off the trees, or you cut the trees for logging, or you remove them because you want to mine. What do you think you are doing? There's something known as the ecosystem, and things are interdependent. So when you go there and you start doing that, you are destroying life. So it's not something you should do. There are other areas you can go and mine. And let's all be absolutely clear. Mining is not the only resource we've been endowed with. We can see that as a consequence of irresponsible mining, fishermen are losing their livelihood. Farmers are losing their livelihood. In addition, we are being poisoned because of how we have irresponsibly mined. So when you look at it, the rise in kidney disease, neurological challenges, you look at the birth defects, the deformed babies, the maternal deaths, the rise in kidney disease, do we think that it is a productive thing to do? Not when we can't monitor it properly. So for us, the first thing you need to do is to repeal LI 2462 and get people out of our forest reserves. When the last tree dies, the last man dies. The forests are our lungs. They purify the air we breathe. Mining is not the only economic activity left to Ghana. There are other ways. You have a green economy. Our forests can be carbon sinks. There's so many other things we can do. Right now, we may not even be able to export cocoa because there are concerns about the mercury levels and how safe it is. In addition, a lot of our cocoa has been destroyed by mining. So when you put things in perspective, I'm not quite sure that the focus on mining has been helpful.
Well, what in your observation would you say was the single challenge that negatively impacted government seeming loss in winning this fight against Galamsey?
Well, was government ever fighting against Galamsey? When you had the firefighters who were the arsonists, so many highly placed persons were involved in illegal mining. We knew them. I'm sure the president knows the name of a lot of the illegal miners. And nothing was being done about it. Excavators are heavy-duty machinery. It's not like a mobile phone that you can put in your pocket. When excavators were moving from one place to one place, you are trying to tell me that the regional ministers didn't see it, the DCs didn't see it, the police didn't see it, the chiefs didn't see it. There was complicity all around. We've had videos where you found out that some of the illegal miners were being protected. So the fact of the matter is that there wasn't a serious fight going on because those who were supposed to be fighting were also involved. There was so much complicity. And that is why the fight, which was never serious, has been lost. Look at the state of Ghana. look at the state of our water bodies. Is this where we want to go? And I keep on saying that if our forefathers had been as irresponsible as we are being, would we have come in to meet any forest? What is happening is totally unacceptable. The Ghana Water Company has warned us about not being able to treat the water if we continue. And like ostriches burying their heads in the sand, we've done nothing till things have come to a head. And you see, we are facing an existential threat. If we don't sit up now and change course, we'll be doomed.
Well, some believe, and some have also said that there are political undertones to this. Like I said earlier, the president said that he was going to put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey, and we saw that in 2020 the NPP lost in many of the Galamsey sites. Do you think, in your opinion, that some of these things are the reasons why we are sort of sluggish when it comes to fighting this menace head on?
You see, what's the meaning of putting your presidency on the line? It means that you're going to take every step you need to take to achieve the purpose you want to achieve. So whether you lose your presidency or not is immaterial, because you've got a higher objective, which is to protect Ghanaians. So if you claim to put your presidency on the line and then you lose hearts because you've lost votes, then how serious were you? Putting your presidency on the line, if one understands what it means, is that I don't care what the consequences are going to be, because I'd rather not be president at all than to preside over a country where people are dying of kidney disease, the water bodies have been poisoned, all our forest cover is going, there are deformed babies, maternal death. Who wants to preside over such a country? Look at the aerial footage of Ghana. It is totally unacceptable. So I'm not quite sure one understood the meaning of putting one's presidency on the line. But having said that, we need to declare a state of emergency. Even those of us in Accra who think we have escaped, who tells us that the water we are drinking is safe? So what we need to do is to declare a state of emergency. Then everybody aspiring to be president must sign up to certain views. You are not going to allow the small-scale mining. You are going to repeal LI 2462, repeal EI 144, and pause community mining, because many people say it doubles as Galamsey. And then not just that, our wetlands, there are structures being constructed on our wetlands. All these must be pulled down. And if every person aspiring to rule Ghana signs up to this, then there's no question of losing votes, because whoever comes to power is going to continue with this. If we are serious as a nation, we don't want to reach the point of no return. These are the steps we should take. And we should ask ourselves, why do we want to rule a country? So we can go in a motorcade, ping, or is it that we have the well-being of the country at heart? So we are suggesting that there needs to be a lot of thinking, and we need to get everybody standing for the presidency or for MPs to sign up to certain points. And then our chiefs have to also protect their areas. We look at the Volta region and look at how beautiful the place is, because the chiefs have stood firm. We look at Jemma, the chief is standing firm. But in other areas, the chiefs have either been complicit or folded their arms. Although I have to say that when armed persons come, what are you, the chief, going to do when they are armed and they are coming to take over the landscape for their mining? So we need to really have the political will. But I'm not quite sure it's there. And Ghanaians need to be angry enough to force the leadership to commit, and anybody wanting to come to power to commit to certain, what we have said, or then don't bother to come at all.
So do you believe that in cracking the whip, the government or any government that comes to power should begin to arrest chiefs and sub-chiefs who are complicit in this menace of Galamsey?
I mean, if you want the rule of law, when somebody infringes the law, you arrest them, prosecute them, and hopefully they are convicted. If you have laws and regulations and people flout them with impunity, the illegal mining on our riverbeds is going on in broad daylight. They don't wait for the cover of darkness. They are there. Why are they not being arrested? Do we not have a police force? Do we not have security services? What is going on is a war against environmental terrorists are waging war against Ghanaians. So it's a war situation, and special measures need to be taken. So until we take those measures, everything we are doing, I'm afraid to say, is a joke. If we understand the gravity of the situation, the catastrophe we are facing, would really sit up. And as I'm saying, and I keep on saying, the political will needs to be there. And Ghanaians can encourage those in charge of affairs to do the right thing by either calling a general strike or doing what needs to be done to tell them that we're not going to sit there whilst we're being poisoned. You need to take action. Arrest those involved. And a lot of those involved, they are known to the government. They are known to them. They are either highly placed persons or well-connected or persons who finance the party. So get them investigated, arrested, prosecuted. Then people will know that we are serious about this war against the environmental terrorists. Otherwise, it's like we're just playing. We just come up with words. When we think that people seem to be angry, we, pretend to be doing this and that. But how serious are we really? Joy has done so many brilliant documentaries. We know what is going on. There has been allegations that, for example, Akonta Mining was involved in illegal mining. Has there been any serious investigation going on? You see, until you can investigate those close to you, nobody would take the so-called fight seriously, because you know those who are involved and you are not taking the necessary action.
Thank you. But before you go, Awula, the two major political parties have said that they are going to combat the issue of Galamsey voted into power. As we enter into the election, these are some of the promises that they are giving Ghanaians. As an environmental activist like yourself, what are your thoughts on these?
You see, words are cheap. Words are extremely cheap. If you are not prepared to repeal LI 2462, then whatever you are saying is not going to work. If you are not prepared to pause all this, whether you want to call it artisanal mining, community mining, small-scale mining, if you're not prepared to pause it until you can look at things properly and get your act together, then it's mere words. I read some of the manifestos. You're talking about licensing them. Is it the license that is the problem? Is it because they are not licensed that they are, destroying our riverbeds? Even when you have licensed companies, like I mentioned, Akonta Mining and others who were mentioned in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, is it that the companies were not licensed? So licensing is not the key. The key is that they have to abide by regulations. And in Ghana, we are allergic to enforcement. We are not able to enforce and monitor. So when you have a few big companies, it's a little easier because they are fewer. But when you have so many thousands, you can't even properly monitor the few. Then you're going to have thousands. How are you going to monitor? And that is what we are saying, that anybody who aspires to political office, any political party, must subscribe to one, repealing LI 2462 and EI 144, and also having a pause in community mining. The GMA has asked for a ban. We are saying that pause community mining, and then you give the rivers the opportunity to heal and to repair themselves. Otherwise, it's like we are joking. We are facing an existential threat, and people just want to come to power to do what? The same old. This is the question I'm asking. Unless you are prepared to take the serious step, we'll just be going around in circles. You have Operation Vanguard, Operation Van Stop, and nothing is going to change. You have to hold people accountable. So anybody aspiring to political office, you have to subscribe to this. And that will make the electorate know that it doesn't matter. It won't be like the last election when President Mahama made some comments about not prosecuting or freeing people in the Galamsey areas. And because of that, the NDC had many votes there and the NPP lost out. This time, everybody is going to subscribe to the same thing. So people are going to judge you by other things, not just about Galamsey, which we need to stop yesterday because our survival is at risk.
Okay. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
So that was the Executive Director of Eco-Conscious, Awula Serwaa. Away from Galamsey, today the political parties' flag bearers have started filing nominations ahead of the 7th December elections. Let's take you to the Electoral Commission, where some of the flag bearers have already filed their nominations.
beautiful. The National Campaign Chairman, Honorable Dangote. The National Chairman himself is in the house. Mr. Stephen Ayeswiti, the former National Chairman. Chairman, what's his name? Engineer Abinajay Ejapo is in the house. Minister for Information, Ajapati Yawaka. Our own mother, the first female chief of staff. Our own mother, Mami, Akofia Freba Apare, also is in the house. I see the administrator of Jet Fund, Mrs. Najoshi Abo, is in the house. I've seen the former deputy local government in the house, sitting empty for offensive law. Chairman Divan Agohum, beautiful, beautiful. The National Campaign Chairman, Honorable Dangote. The National Chairman himself is in the house. Mr. Stephen Ayeswiti, the former National Chairman. Chairman, what's his name? Engineer Abinajay Ejapo is in the house. Minister for Information, Ajapati Yawaka. Our own mother.
So that was the NPP. The executives of the NPP, high-ranking members of the NPP, accompanying the Vice President and flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and his running mate, NAPO, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, as they went to the Electoral Commission to file their nomination ahead of the 7 December polls. Know that today is when it has opened. The nominations have been open for flag bearers to come and file their nominations ahead of the 7 December polls. My colleague Samuel Nimadbo is at the Electoral Commission, where he's bringing us everything about today's filing. Hello, Samuel.
Hello, Abena.
Good afternoon, Samuel. How is it going at the Electoral Commission?
Right, good afternoon, Abena, and good afternoon to our viewers. I am here at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission, where the flag bearers two flag bearers have been filed their nominations. The flag bearer of the NPP Action Right Convention have filed his nomination earlier in the morning, and then the flag bearer of the people filed his nomination a while ago. But we are waiting the arrival of the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, and his running mate, Professor Nana.
Okay, today nominations have been open for the flag bearers, like I said earlier, to file their nominations ahead of the election come December 7, in hopes of being the leaders of the country if voted into power. The NPP has filed their nomination, and we will see how far and how many will file their nomination by the time it is over. Nana Kwame Bediako-Cheda has also filed his nomination ahead of the elections.
National Chairman, General Secretary, members of the National Executive, Chief of Staff, Ministers of State and Members of Parliament, the National Campaign Chairman, senior campaign officials, my running mate and his spouse, my beautiful Samira, the second lady.
You for even witness this moment, but it's a historic moment. It's the first time people of our generation has stepped forward to be a part of this national governance. And I thank God to be one of the people who have started this whole movement, making sure that people of our age, people that belong to the youth sector, finally are part of this movement and national governance of this country.
How's the campaign going? What's the feedback on the ground?
The campaign is good, and I must say that Ghanaians have been very much embracing. I am proud to be a Ghanaian, and I feel good to stand for the people of this nation. I know that we can build a better country by us, from us. And therefore, I want to say that it's not just going to take the campaign to make this, but it's going to take the people of this country to decide and make this a better place.
One of the requirements in the form is for you to name your vice president. Will you tell us who this person is?
I would when the time is right. Like you always know, we unveil. So don't worry. Keep waiting. When the mask comes off, you will see that one.
So that was the New Forces Nana Kwame Bediako, popularly known as Cheddar. My colleague Samuel Nyimagbo is at the Electoral Commission, where he's bringing us updates from the filing of nominations. Hello, Samuel.
Hello, Abner.
Good afternoon again, Samuel.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I lost you in a bit due to network issues.
Well, we are glad to have you again. Samuel, what's going on at the Electoral Commission? What's the feeling like there?
All right. So, as I was mentioning earlier, we are within the arrival of the NDC's flag bearer and the running mate, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, as they come in to also file their nominations. Earlier, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and his running mate, Dr. Opoku Prempeh, came to file their nominations. We had the flag bearer of the PNC, Hassan Ayaga, also coming in to file his nomination. As you mentioned, the New Force came in also to file their nomination. So as it stands now, everything there is quite cool. The party, the NDC, is yet to come in, so everything is quite calm here. There are no movements yet. We've not seen the EC officials yet. They are in their offices. When the NDC comes in and the flag bearer and the running mate comes in, they'll be received by the Electoral Commission chairperson, Jane Mensah, for the party to also file their nomination ahead of the 2024 elections. Let me remind the viewers that today is the opening of the nomination, but it closes on 13th of September, this Friday. However, the nomination has been open to the party. So what the role is that the parties will file their nomination first before the independent candidate. So for today, it's mostly the parties that will be filing their nominations, and the subsequent days to Friday will have the independent candidates coming in to also file their nominations. We have about 27 of the independent candidates that picked their forms and are expected to file their nominations, and have about 12 parties also coming in to file that have picked their forms expected to file their nominations. So we have about 39 parties and presidential aspirants, independent presidential aspirants that are expected to come and file their nominations within today or from today to Friday.
But so far, only 3 parties have filed.
Yes, so far only 3 have filed. If the NDC comes in to file, that will add up to that will make the number 4 by today, and tomorrow the other parties also coming to file their nominations as well. Then from Wednesday we have the independent candidates coming in, and their number, like I mentioned, there are plethora of them. About 27 of them have taken nominations. So it is going to be a long process for the Electoral Commission and the commissioner herself, because the commissioner is expected to receive almost all of these 39 nominations, although at some point she will be designating the work to the deputy commissioners as well.
Okay, Sammy. Thank you, Sammy. So that's my colleague Samuel Yimagbo reporting from the Electoral Commission. So far, 3 parties have filed nominations. The flag bearers have filed their nominations ahead of the December 7 elections. We are expecting that the presidential candidate and vice president and flag bearer of the NDC will also file their nomination today by the close of the day.
Yes, I have filed my nomination a while ago, and I'm now leaving to the party office to start activities of our party. So for us, it was a smooth filing of nomination, and we wish that all political parties will campaign in peace and decorum, so that Ghana will be peaceful before, during, and after election. So that is all we are wishing, and we are asking that volunteers all over this country to support the APC, so that wherever you are listening, support the APC and let the APC become the next third force to win elections.
How confident are you after filing this nomination? You know, about 39 of you, political parties and then independent candidates. How confident that the APC will emerge victorious?
I filed with an alliance. An alliance was formed with the APC to make this a success. So that is already the beginning of the success of the APC. Other independent candidates filing together with the APC and becoming running mates, and others becoming campaign directors for the party. That is a success. We are forming a united front that will make Ghanaians give us the mandate to win this election.
You mentioned third force just before I let you go. Why do you call yourself the third force?
Because look at our campaign. Look at our members. Okay, look at the policies we are bringing on board. Not even the NDC and the MPP have soft policies. They are even picking our policies as their major campaign messages. So you can imagine what the APC can offer Ghanaians. So for us, we want all of you, the youth of this country, to join the APC and let's build. We have the brains to change this country for all of you.
Are you hoping that the EC will not disqualify you in 2016?
2016 is another year. 2024 is a different year.
Thank you.
Still on elections, outgoing MP for Anyaso Utuom, Dr. Dickson Adomaku Kisi, has called on members of parliament and parliamentary aspirants who have broken away from the NPP to reconsider their decision and join the NPP in the upcoming elections. Speaking on the side after Dr. Bawumia addressed party supporters following the filing of his nominations, the Anyaso Utuom MP, who said he decided not to go independent as the party reigned supreme over every personal ambition, charged others to follow suit and stay with the party. You would recall that their MP for Anyaso Utuom, Dr. Dickson Adomaku Kisi, lost the primaries to Emmanuel Tobing at the just ended NPP primaries. So he is not coming back to parliament this time. Somebody else is going to represent the NPP on the ballot paper. However, he has said that the party reigns supreme over every personal ambition, and so has called on all NPP PCs, parliamentary candidates who lost the primaries, to still stay with the NPP and forge forward for the NPP to win the December 7 elections. Well, on elections, Majority Leader and Member of Parliament for Futu constituency, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, says it's only the NPP that has represented or presented a Muslim as a presidential candidate between themselves and the opposition NDC in the history of Ghana. According to him, the NPP's selection of Dr. Bawumia as presidential candidate shows that the party's level of inclusivity as opposed to the NDC, who he said sacked Haruna Idrisu, the only Muslim in the rank who could have contested the presidential candidate of the party.
Leader of our party, running mate, Madam Chief of Staff, National Chairman, General Secretary, leadership of our great party, members of party here at Ghana. It was a nostalgic moment for me as I observed Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia make history as he filed his nomination at the Electoral Commission. For the first time since 1957, when this country attained independence, it has taken the MPP as the first party ever to give a Muslim an opportunity to be a flag bearer in the politics of the country. We have given true meaning to our vision as a party for our country. That in our party is a party of inclusiveness and diversity. In the past, many were those who doubted the true colors of our party. But today, that question has been answered. That even in the NDC, the only gentleman who was the hope of Muslims in the politics of the country was kicked out. I refer to Haruna Idrisu. In the NDC party today, there is no prominent Muslim leading the charge in the politics of their party. We have demonstrated that in MPP, it doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter which village you come from. We believe in competence. We believe that you can rise to eminence by merit and be respected by the party no matter where you come from. Today, in the central region, in my own community in Efutu, what I hear people tell me is that, Honorable, all of us the Christians are ready to prove that with Dr. Bawumia's competence, we are going to vote for him. Now, I am calling on our Muslim brothers. This is an opportunity that has come. If this opportunity is blown away, you never can tell. It may not come again. Give Dr. Bawumia that opportunity to give hope to the Muslim youth that one day, if he works hard, he would also have an opportunity to lead this country. And young flag bearer, where two wako file nomination. And the MPP.
Away from the NPP, former chairman of the People's National Congress, Bernard Morna, has won the flag bearer race for the People's National Convention, PNC. He was announced the winner by the Electoral Commission officials at the UDS Guest House in Accra on September 7, 2024, after garnering 1,138 votes, defeating his challenger, David Apasera, who managed to secure 216 votes. This ensued at the party's Congress to elect its national executives ahead of the December 7 general elections. Speaking after his victory, Mr. Morna called on his contender and incumbent chairman, David Apasera, to join hands for the battle ahead to help the party win power.
This victory is not the end. It is the beginning. The real work starts now. Ghanaians are fed up with the MPP and the NDC musical chairs. PNC, under the leadership of Bernard Ambatala Morna, will change the status quo and break the genes and put smiles on the faces of all Ghanaians. To my competitor, the Honorable David Apasera, in this just ended National Delegates Congress, I call on you to join me as we work to address the challenges ahead. The challenges ahead do not take any side. Hence, I call on you, all party members and all those who separated from us, to quickly join ranks with the PNC and the BAM for Change agenda. Let us come together, put aside our differences, and build a brighter future.
Meanwhile, Chairman and aspiring flag bearer of the People's National Convention, PNC, David Apasera, has rejected the results from the 2024 PNC National Congress held to elect its national executives ahead of the December 7 general elections. The Congress, which took place on September 7, encountered several delays due to an injunction filed by Apasera's camp. Despite the delays, Bernard Morna was declared by officials from the Electoral Commission as the flag bearer. However, David Apasera accused the Electoral Commission of conducting a fraudulent and biased election, disregarding an earlier injunction from the Accra High Court. According to him, Bernard Morna and the Electoral Commission conspired to undermine his candidacy and hinted at legal action to challenge the election result. Well, let's go back to the Electoral Commission, where my colleague Samuel Nyimagbo is on grounds to give us updates on what is happening there. We apologize for the break in transmission as we were unable to bring you David Apasera's sound. Hello, Sammy.
Hello,
Sammy, we are back to you again. Let us know what is happening at the Electoral Commission.
Yeah, so the National Democratic and the Electoral Commission's head office to file their nomination. However, we are yet to start the flag bearer and running mate of the party. We assume that the flag bearer running mate will be here. And the director of elections of the National Democratic Congress for your short who are have come in their numbers or who are here to file the nomination on behalf of the flag bearer. So this is what is happening at the Electoral Commission. The flag bearer and the running mate are not here yet. They are not here. The party's chairman, director of elections, Dr. Omani Buama is here, and the Asibu Tejia is still in his car. He's here to step down to speak to them.
So that was my colleague Samuel Nyimagbo from the Electoral Commission, where some of the bigwigs of the NDC have arrived ahead of the arrival of the flag bearer of the NDC to file his nomination ahead of the December 7 election. Still on the NDC, Joanna Jan Kujo, wife of popular artist Keche Andrew, has been re-elected as the National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for Amenfi Central. She was elected through acclamation after the incumbent member of parliament and her contender, Peter Kwache Akar, withdrew from the race after vetting on Saturday. The rerun of the primaries follows the decision of the Functional Executive Committee of the party to annul primaries that was conducted on May 13, 2023. According to the party, the first primary elections was subject of litigation at the High Court in Second D, with the plaintiff seeking the court to annul the election results and order for a rerun. However, in a swift turn of events, the incumbent member of parliament, Peter Kwache Akar, withdrew from the race on Saturday, September 8, 2024, allowing her to be re-elected as the NDC parliamentary candidate for the 2024 election in the Amenfi Central constituency. So this means that going into the elections, the Amenfi Central constituency will have on the ballot representing NDC Joanna Jan. We are going back to the Electoral Commission. Samuel Nyimagbo is there to give us more information from the filing of nomination. Sammy, we are back to you. Hello, Samuel. Hello, Samuel. Okay, while we hope to establish contact with Samuel at the Electoral Commission, let's take a break. We'll be back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take some business news. The festive season nears. Professor Isaac Boedi, a finance lecturer at the University of Professional Studies and a former banker, is warning banks to prepare for a surge in withdrawals. He stresses that financial institutions should maintain sufficient liquidity to meet the needs of individuals, companies, and institutions during this period. Professor Boedi also urges banks to be ready for increased financial activity during election seasons, as political parties, ports and other institutions will likely make large withdrawals. His message is a call for banks to ensure that they have enough funds to keep operations smooth during these high-end times.
One recommendation was managing the liquidity issues we have at the bank. There will be inflows and there will be outflows. But around this period, I suspect that the outflows will be more than the inflows of the funds to the bank. They'll also be looking out for credit quality. The credit they will give to individuals. Already we are having issue with the NPLs, the non-performing loans. Amongst all the indicators that shows signs of recovery, it is only the loan that we are having issues with, the quality of our loans. So we are trying to advise the banks that they should tighten their credit policies and conduct thorough risk assessment before extending loans to the people who come for the funds. It is also better to have shorter term secure credit options, and that will help mitigate some of the credit risk issues that we have.
Former President Donald Trump on Saturday threatened prosecution and long-term prison sentences for election officials and political operatives who he suggested could cheat in the 2024 election if he again wins the presidency in November. Trump said that his attorneys and legal scholars are watching the sanctity of the 2024 presidential election very closely. When I win, Trump wrote in a post on his social network, Truth Social, that he later also shared on X, those people that cheated will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Trump added on Saturday, I know better than most the rampant cheating and skullduggery that has taken place by the Democrats in the 2020 presidential elections. It was a disgrace to our nation. In international news, Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has denounced the brutal killing of a senior member of the main opposition party, Chadema, who was kidnapped, beaten, and doused with acid. On Friday, Muhammad Ali Kibao, 69, was forced off a bus by suspected security agents while traveling from the country's biggest city, Dar es Salaam, to his hometown, Tanga. His body was found in Unonio, the waterfront district of Dar es Salaam, local media reported. Well, that's all for international news. Let's look at some entertainment news. Entertainment news, veteran Ghanaian actress Grace Omabo, known widely in the entertainment industry as Mame Dokno, has marked her 80th birthday in a lavish and star-studded style. Although Mame Dokno turned 80 in June this year, she threw a party to celebrate being an octogenarian with the launch of a book called Unforgettable Mame Dokno. The party reeked of class as celebrities and important dignitaries trooped in to celebrate with her. Mame Dokno was draped in a lush blue gown, simple makeup as she beamed with smiles from ear to ear. She interacted with her former colleague actors, chiefs, and other celebrities in different industries. To join her cut the cake were David Donto, who has been a key player in Mame Dokno's life and career, Koku Anyidoho, and some members of royalty. Also spotted at the party were Nana Ama McBrown, Prophet Kofi Ojo, Ajwa Smart, Freda Mugi, Christine Dotete, Abeku Santan, and Abeku Santana, amongst others. The party was hosted by comedian DKB. Mame Dokno is a household name in Ghana with over 5 decades of acting experience in movies and theater arts. She is most famous for her storytelling television program, By the Fireside. She was also the lead actress of the Obra drama group and the African drama television series Akan Drama. She starred in so many movies and has 3 music albums to her name. She continues to work by hosting radio and talk shows and also addresses socio-economic problems in the country. Well, that is all for our entertainment news. But thank you for joining us on ABC News GH. For more news, visit us on www.abcnewsgh.com. We are live on all social media when we go live with our news. Kindly interact with us on @ABCNewsGH_. I am Abna Mante. Have a good afternoon.